The record is a tremendous piece of work. I think perhaps if we could start discussing the tune that you just did, That's the Way My Love Is. The finished product is not always what you began with writing. Maybe if you could talk about the evolution of that tune and how it came out to be the way it is.
Jimmy and I started working in Scottsdale, Arizona in November of 2005. That's how long it's taken just to get, today the album is out, the day we're recording this. And when we first started working together again, it was sort of that thing of like, okay, well, what kind of Smashing Pumpkins album are we going to make? Because we were certainly conscious of the kind of album people would want us to make. Because in the years that we weren't together, people constantly said, oh, come back, make a rock album. You get that sort of rah-rah kind of thing from people on the street. And so we knew if we didn't make a rock album, there'd certainly be a lot of resistance to some art experiment or something. So it was sort of like a lot of discussions about, well, what does that even mean? Because there were so many different versions of the band's rock. Like, people liked Siamese Dream rock a lot, Melancholy a lot. A lot of people don't know the Gish style of the band, and certainly a lot of people didn't like the Machinist style of the band's rock. They found it too negative or whatever. So just being loud is not necessarily... So we were like, okay, well, what does that even mean? And what does that even mean to us? Like, how do we even want to play? And at that point, it was just only the two of us working. So this song here, this song we just played, That's the Way, is a perfect example, because I had the original... I can play a little... The original feel of it was something like... They say that life ain't easy. They say your life's a crime. Destroy up all good reason. Oh, I'm alive. Something like that. Can you play that original beat?
Yeah, the original drum part was...
Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. They say that life ain't easy. They'll say your life's a crime. Destroy up all good reason. Oh, I'm alive. Something like that. So
crazy, right?
But right away, like, we loved the idea of the song, but right away we said, well, that just sounds too much like... That reminded us too much of Melancholy. So right there you have a contradiction of thought. On one level, we know that people want to hear that kind of feeling from us because that's what they identify as some of our best work. And on the other hand, we're saying, well, we don't want to sound like that. So what do? You know what I mean? It's not as simple as saying, well, reject the idea because it's familiar. One thing we learned from working with the producer we worked with a lot, Flood, was that every idea is adaptable. And it's ironic because we just ran into the Killers, who did their last album with Flood, and we said, how was it working with Flood? And they said, we got sick of doing every song 6 different ways, And we had to laugh because that's the way he works, to get you out of your comfort zone. So we kept messing around with the song, and we kept playing it like this. We probably played it like that for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And every time we play, it's a great song, but it's really bothersome that it's that same feel every time. And I don't know, but it's one of those things where you stand around one day, and all of a sudden I just started playing. Because we started talking about like different rhythmic feels, and so there was... And as soon as you started playing that, then it was just like, it was all there. So it was as simple as just one different idea took us from 1995 to 2005 at that point. And so that's the kind of journey that we went on. It was trying to find who we were today, but always from the wellspring of who we were, so that we weren't sort of just rejecting the past and saying, well, we don't want to do that, because we'd already done that. The Adore and Machine albums are sort of, in a way, rejection of what had become before. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to sort of put our arms back around what we used to do and find what we liked about it and get rid of the rest. Because, the world has so many different impressions of what it's supposed to be. And when we were younger, our basic stance was always F you, It was like, you don't like what we did, F you. Even if we're wrong, F you. Seriously, because that's what it means to be in a band. And just to draw a sort of cultural distinction, I think we live in a culture now where you don't see F you anymore. It's like fake F you. I don't want to offend you too much because you won't buy my record. So we're in an interesting position because we're coming back and people have a rosy opinion of what we did, but oftentimes it doesn't include the reality of what we did. So we knew coming into this culture, particularly in America, which is literally probably the stupidest culture in the history of mankind. Seriously, look around right now.
Record sales plummet.
Actually, I'd like to come back to that.
Yeah, let's get back to America's stupidity. Yeah.
No. Well, you know what? I would like to come back to that because you did some things lyrically on this record that I don't think you had really approached before, and maybe we could come back to that after the next tune, which I think is probably a very strong example of all that, For God and Country. And we'll chat more about it afterwards, but go ahead.
Do you want us to show you a little bit of how the song's evolution, or you want to wait till after we...
Well, why don't we play the song first,
Sure,
and
okay.
then, or you play the song first. I'll
Okay.
sit here.
You can join in. Okay, this is God and Country.